There we go. I am kind of surprised at how far we are along the investigation track already.
Yeah, I was not expecting our group to go as far into investigation this early on.
Right? How many links do we have? Okay, there's a few.
Yeah, there's a few, but definitely we focus more on the investigation than links, I feel, the last one. Will be interesting to see how that plays out in the encounter.
Yeah.
Hey, well.
Hello.
Hello.
I I didn't realize that Zoom wanted me to acknowledge that the meeting was being live streamed
Oh,
Oh.
before I unmuted or turned my video on.
I figured I'd get it started early this time so I don't have to mess with it, and I create additional problems.
Am I coming through okay?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So it's the video is being recorded on YouTube, but is private.
Yep.
Okay. I am learning about tabletop RPG technologies.
You and me both.
I have to say, was skeptical of Zoom for a while, but this seems to be working out pretty nicely. Maybe it's just because of my old job and everything with dealing with Zoom for education. Yeah, not as this is a lot better than than it was being used in education. I can say that much.
That sounds like a great deal of cat wrangling.
Oh, immensely, especially because I was IT for elementary schools. Elementary schoolers are not very great with the things that the kids would do on camera, and they would not care what's going on.
I believe.
Yikes.
Oh, so I'm trying to remember. We did the like investigation. We finished off with an investigation, right?
So we ended with Violet storming off through the night to go find Rose, her sister.
Oh, right. That's where we stopped. And we still have, I forget, is Violet has one more downtime action. I have two more, right?
Yep. This is Violet's last one.
That sounds familiar.
Trying to remember everything here.
Yeah, I believe Violet finished off with starting another long-term project.
Oh, right. Long-term project. I forgot that's something you do in your downtime.
Which I'll ask David again if that's what he would prefer as opposed to another investigation. Because either way works.
Oh, David is our long-term project teammate, because all of our projects have been done by David so far.
We're doing pretty well on investigation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it doesn't clear between missions, right? We just build it up to sort of build.
It halves, I think, is it?
Yeah, it halves.
Okay. So we're not going to just we are not obliterating this track pacing wise.
Yeah, but if you think about it, being ahead means that we have to investigate less often to maintain.
That's true.
Yeah.
And there's this weird thing where you don't have to necessarily be at the same tier to choose the mission. So you could just start off session 1, be like, let's brave the abyss. You'll get a bunch of minuses to the engagement roll, but you could do it.
That sounds like a terrible decision. And, depending on the magical girl group, they may be doing that, but I don't know about our group. I think we have a little bit more self-preserving characters at the moment.
Let's fast track this.
Also, hey, David.
Hello.
All right. So last time we went through some obligations and then we jumped into downtime and we discovered the hideout. Then we jumped back into downtimes towards the end. And we're currently, the camera is currently following Violet as she storms through the camp in pursuit or to find Rose. Is there anything anybody would like to mention from last session that they'd like to bring up? Something that maybe it struck them or just call attention to as part of the recap?
I think the biggest thing to call into question, which is the whole reason Violet's even going off after Rose in general, is our big important thing, which is the fun house that we found, or mirror house, I guess you could still call it, I don't know, and Rose's name being on the docket for it.
Right. And when we say the docket, what was Rose's role in this exactly, or do we know?
So Frida had discovered that a lot of the dancers had invitations and like gift baskets that were distributed among them. And the invitations were like very ornate, very expensive. And clearly like someone in the major houses like was sending these out, was able to afford it. And so then Adele went to go through the logs to figure out, well, who's in charge of all of the activities here at this particular place. And we discovered that the house that's running the festivities here, because they are low on financial support, were requesting aid from other houses. And so Adele discovered that the house, one of the houses was Violet's house Hephaestus.
Hephaestus.
Hephaestus. I know that was what Rose has been up to, is helping out with the festivities.
Okay. So do we know if she's connected with this fun house?
I think that's the indicator. That's the suggestion, is like, oh, if somebody's going to know about it, it's probably Rose, and she may have been the one to do it.
I see.
But we don't know that the invitations are in her handwriting, or she put in a bulk order for 5,000 suspicious invitations or something like that. But she's in the vicinity.
It's like her name is on paper. That doesn't mean much else for us. It's just tangentially related at the moment, and that's all we got.
Yeah, basically it was a thing of like in answer to the question, who here can best help me, basically it's like Rose's name was the one that surfaced as it's like being found on the paperwork in regards to investigating which committees are responsible for this funhouse. So we have an indication that Rose may be connected in some way, but we don't. It's like not quite anything more than that.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. So I'm stalking and through the night after Rose. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to be doing?
I think since you're off doing that, and I think you were mentioning that last time you're going to do a long-term project for that, but yeah, whatever you're going to do with your downtime, I was going to do my thing after that.
I think we established that Violet still has one downtime action and Sarya Marie has two.
Correct.
Yep. I think we were establishing that this was Violet's last one. And then I remember we talked briefly at the end whether or not it made more sense for this to be a long-term project or an investigation. I don't remember why I necessarily brought that up. So it's definitely up to you, David, which you would prefer, whether like what this looks like. Is this investigating the abyss involvement, or is this like figuring out what Nosy Body Sister's up to?
I think I would be more interested in figuring out Rose's role specifically.
Okay. Yeah, so I think we had established that that was a long-term project, if that sounds good to you.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. We'll start at 4 o'clock for that.
Cool.
Okay. So we see Violet storm off through the camp at night. It's well into night now. There's hardly anybody out. It's quiet. And as you like storm around a bunch of trees to where there's a bunch of tents arrayed, you see the tent that's would suggest that it's Rose's. Maybe there's heraldry of your house or something on the side. And then you see not too far away from it, as if leaving the tent, is Gabriel.
Oh no. Okay.
Do you try to intercept, or do you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What does that look like?
Gabriel, what are you doing here?
Oh, Torchbearer, I didn't expect to see you. Why are you out late?
I came to see Rose. Why are you out late?
I was just leaving Rose. She was distraught. But
why? Is everything okay?
I don't think he looks like on the edge of anger. He looks very frustrated, but he tries to keep it together. That's not a problem that you need to concern yourself about anymore, I think. But you shouldn't be out here. We got to keep the torchbearer safe. I don't want anything to happen to her. I don't want anything to happen to you.
I can take care of myself, Gabriel. You don't need to worry about me. But what's the problem with Rose? I'll ask you one more time.
He like takes a step back. He's like, yeah. I guess she discovered what we used to have, and she wanted to make sure that that was no longer happening.
Well, it's nothing you have to worry about. It's not happening anymore. But why would she care?
She wasn't super clear on it. She said a few things. I'm not sure they're for your ears, but she said that the house cannot be entangled with the guardians of the torchbearers, that we're too far down the rung of the hierarchy, and that me specifically, that I was spoiling the potential that you have.
Fine.
If you're gonna be out this late, at least allow me or one of the other guards to accompany you. The patrols around here, they're not what they should be. There's not enough hired guards.
I'm not going back to my tent. I told you already. I'm going to go see Rose. God, you're such an idiot, Gabriel. And I kind of like start crying a little bit as I like shove past him.
Yeah, I think he like looks shocked, and then like his shoulders sink. He's like, you can hear him cursing in the back at himself, and he goes in the other direction. So you see, oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I don't think that helped the team at all, but oh well. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So you managed to find your way over to Rose's tent. I'm going to throw this out there. Is there like a security measure for these tents, or they just assume that they're going to be well protected by like guards that are patrolling?
There might be a person standing outside. I can't imagine that it's high security. I imagine these tents are all kind of in a separate area that's kind of not like literally fenced off, but you know, if you kind of have the blueprint of the festival, probably all of these administrative tents are over here in a corner, and there's people kind of surrounding the section, if that makes sense. Each individual tent, maybe not, but you know, the general area that they're in is probably pretty good, well guarded, I would think.
I think that's right. I think as you get closer, you see like in the distance a patrol coming by, and just like Gabriel had said, it's understaffed. Like there clearly there's not enough people out keeping watch. But there's Rose's tent. As you get closer, it sounds like there's some delicate chimes, like almost like a music box, but it's just coming to the end of its song. I assume you step in.
Yeah.
There is a flicker of movement across the way at I don't have the what is the word for this, where you have this nice like little place to sit, and there's like cosmetics and a mirror. What is that thing called?
Like a vanity?
Yes, yeah, like a vanity. Yeah. Nobody's sitting there, but you see for a moment, looks like Rose's reflection in the mirror, and it locks eyes with you, and then it moves out of the mirror. Other than that, the room appears to be empty. There is, I think that maybe this is where we make the roll.
Yeah. So it's like a reverse vampire. You only see the reflection.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. What would I roll for this? If all I'm getting is that there's a music box and the reflection stuff and the vanity.
Oh, sure. Okay, yeah. So maybe I should ask, what do you do next? And then maybe that will determine.
I mean, I'm gonna run up to the mirror and like maybe even press my hand against it and kind of look into it and see if I can find any sign of her inside it.
It sounds like perceive or analyze.
Either one, I have one die in.
Okay, so we'll just go with it then.
Okay. So is that one die or two?
Just one die.
Oh, okay.
Unless you have an ability that helps you with long-term projects or something.
Oh, probably not.
Okay.
No, sure don't.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose I could push myself for a bonus die, but I won't. 6.
Nice. Okay, on a 6, you get 4 segments marked, so you just fill up this clock.
Haha.
All right, so the clock was about investigating Rose and figuring out what's got, I think, their talons in her. Was that how we phrased it last time?
I don't remember the exact wording, but
okay,
that sounds good to me.
Okay. There's no reflection in the mirror except for yours and the rest of the room when you get up there. But you see there, splayed out in the vanity, the same gift basket that the dancer girls received, although the audience would recognize it, you don't. or Violet doesn't necessarily. It's filled with an array of newly formulated cosmetics, and there is there's probably a few of these invitations. One of them's like splayed open. There is the smell like a florist shop. It's like walking into a florist shop where it's like that. It's like a cool scent, very floral, very aromatic, but just like a tinge of like chemical preservatives. There is also nestled into one of the invitations in beautiful calligraphy and like iridescent black inks, an invitation specifically laid out to Rose. Come and meet me for midnight dalliance. We will dance the night away, you and I. We will remove all your sorrows so that nothing is left. I will take the pain away, and you will be beautiful forever.
Is it signed?
Yes, yeah, it's totally signed. The name on it is the Masked Marquis.
An alias. Is there a location? It just says Midnight Dalliance, right? Is there like a place?
It's nested into the invitation to the Maze of Mirrors.
Oh, go to the Maze of Mirrors at midnight for a dalliance. Oh, great. Okay. I would like to take a photograph of that with my phone or whatever device I have that can do that. And then I'm going to just book it out of there, and any passersby would see me running like I'm being chased by something back to our hideout.
Excellent. Okay. That's a good place to end there. So let's jump over to Sarah.
Okay. So we'll start off with my first idea, which is, and I just want to make sure, can I do an investigation roll without my character intentionally investigating, but something catching them off when they're doing something?
That sounds, yeah. I think the description in the book is like, you go places where it's unexpected to discover things.
Okay, well that works perfectly then. So I would say after the initial meeting of the group and all at the hideaway, there's a few things nagging at the back of her head, especially in regards to kind of just mulling over what Frida kind of said last time. And for her, she's kind of really kind of bothered by it, keeping it all to herself at the moment of that thought, while kind of putting a hand to her shoulder where her adoptive mother earlier had kind of put a bit of kind of claws into her shoulder, and her just trying to think to herself, it's like, should I talk to somebody about this? Which that is foreshadowing for sometime later. Of her of just something's kind of gnawing at the back of her mind, and at this moment she's like, okay, no, I need to just not think about it, just push that problem behind me. I'm going to go and help find and see if I can help somebody, maybe even find a cat that's stuck in a tree. I'm going to and help them get down. She is off just trying to go and find somebody to help, and whatever may or may not occur in this thing is kind of where she will probably go from there.
Okay, so she's out stalking in the middle of the night through this like festive.
Yeah, the incessant need of her of wanting to be useful.
Okay. And this is investigation to learn something about
the abyss.
The abyss. Okay. One minute while I think about what you stumble into randomly.
I don't know, maybe there's some voices. particular objects moving about.
Okay.
Mhm.
So where does Sarah stay when she's in the festival grounds? Like clearly Regalia is not going to be here. She's going to probably be in some penthouse somewhere.
Generally speaking, where she tends to kind of hang around mostly in her free time, anywhere near kind of her friend Adele's area. Generally speaking, she tries to stay away from her own group because once again, she does not feel welcomed there. And other than that, if she might be just kind of finding herself just sitting around, just aimlessly talking with her blind childhood friend.
Okay. All right. So like you said, you normally hang around Adele's area. So I think what's interesting is that as you're searching around for somebody to find to help to make yourself useful, you sort of stumble upon a scene where Oda is lecturing a number of like young dancer girls, and they all seem to like wide-eyed staring at her, like they're clearly very intimidated. And I think among them is, even though she's not necessarily a dancer, is Marie. Maybe she hangs out with the dancers in her free time, or just hangs out. Also busy doing things. And then Oda makes her leave, and the girls seem very distraught, and they just kind of look at each other, wide-eyed, like mouths agape, and then they start to straighten themselves up and try to put themselves back together. What do you do?
And this is kind of curious in general. One, it's like Marie tends to get themselves just kind of into situations, helping out wherever they kind of stumble into. And two, it felt like it was a very intense atmosphere, more than even the usual, it feels like. So naturally she kind of just, she looks for just at the situation for a bit, kind of waits for a moment to just kind of let them breathe for just a brief moment after that situation before kind of quietly like just kind of steadily kind of sauntering on up to them and being like, so what was that all about? Is everything okay around here?
Yeah, so let's make a roll.
Okay.
Here's a good opportunity for that. What it sounds like you're trying to maybe empathize with them.
Yeah, she's definitely trying to empathize here.
Okay, so that's 1d6.
1d6. I will find this thing here. There it is. So 1d6, or because I have empathize, is it 2?
No, that's why it's 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay. More dice is not always good in this situation. I keep forgetting.
Okay. With the 1, we mark 2 segments on the clock. Luckily, it's downtime, so these aren't terrible things.
Yeah, it's just me and my luck. Oh, I've gotten so many ones already.
And you get 1 question.
One whole question. And it's in regards to what basically what just happened here.
I think so.
Okay. I guess the question would be, why is everything so tense?
So I think to kind of elide through it, the girls clam up. They don't want to talk, but Marie's there. She's more than happy to to let you know what just happened. And she goes on for a little bit, pulling you away from the others, and says that they were laughing and having a good time and were making their way back to their tent for the evening. And Miss Oda discovered them and told them that now is not the time for laughter. Now is not the time to show strong emotion at all. You need to be quiet and you need to keep yourself together, because there are greater forces out there that are hunting right now. They would like nothing more than to clam everybody up.
that's an interesting. Somebody knows a little bit more than others. At this, Sarah just is like kind of just gives her friend a hug and it's like, thanks for telling me. For now, it's probably best that you kind of head on back to the bed and everything. I'm not sure what has gotten up with Oda and everything, or what was necessarily being said, but it's probably best to just play it safe.
I think Marie's, like, you can tell she's worried. She's confused. She's a little frightened that there's something out there hunting people when they're laughing and having a good time. This sounds very ominous. But I think she's happy to go back to, find her way back to the tent that she's staying at. It's probably also nested here with all of the houses where there's, security for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So she does.
And as she's leaving, though, in typical Sarah fashion, she kind of just gives like a kind of a little like kind of confident little beat of her chest with her right fist, and it's like, don't worry, I'll keep you safe.
She smiles and says, I know, but who's gonna keep you safe?
Ooh, asking the questions that she never wants to answer.
I think it's probably like a common exchange.
Oh yeah. No, it's just in the back of her head. It's like, oh, that's a question that she's avoiding all the time.
All right. So what would you like to do for your last downtime activity?
And the last one would be a connection with Adele. And I guess Adele, the first thing I want to make sure is kind of, what would your character be up to at this point in time, do you think?
I imagine probably, since I believe the last thing they did basically after finding the paperwork, the docket with it's like the insinuation that Rose was involved somehow, and then it's like, I believe it's like bring it to, it's like Violet for her to see and everything, which led to, it's like, which kind of led to Violet going off to investigate. It's like further and everything. They probably, it's like they probably try to like look. It's like they probably head back to. It's like they probably head back to the tent in order to. It's like maybe it's like look through. It's like the various paperwork a little bit more, see if they can find anything else, as well as like putting what they took back into order and everything. It's like got to keep things organized. Is like and everything. So that's probably it's like probably in that span of time and everything, you'd probably catch them like as they're leaving the tent after it's like returning everything as it was.
Okay. Well then I would say Sarah kind of just, as they're kind of coming back from that, well, kind of waltzing about kind of back towards the tent area as a whole, from the interesting exchange that happened just moments ago and everything, they're just kind of back to like kind of wandering in their mind a bit. One, now trying to process everything that kind of Oda kind of brought up, and then their initial thought they were even kind of thinking about before they even ran into all that. And I would say, given how enraptured in thought Sarah is, she probably doesn't even realize Adele's even remotely there, and probably may or may not accidentally kind of run into you in a way, but like not at a very like at high speeds, but more of like just a walking and then bump right into you.
And it's like Adele just kind of like instinctively just kind of like holds you at the, it's like arms. It's like, and it's like everything too. It's like as though trying to still you. It's like before, it's like answering, it's like lost in our thoughts, are we?
Well, I guess you could say that. Oh, and oh, sorry, I didn't even notice you there. Yeah, just a lot to think about tonight. What are you up to?
I was simply, it's like finishing up some, it's like work. I suppose I should, it's like, it's like update you. I did, it's like fine. It's like I did look a little more into our funhouse situation to see if I can find any, it's like buddy involved. And I've alerted, it's like Violet about it, that it's like I found, it's like her sister's name in insinuation, so to speak. And it's like I believe Violet's it's like probably on it's like her way to have a family talk. Although I'm not it's like although I'd rather not presume anything. What's on your mind?
Where to begin? Oh, that's a good question. Oh, I mean, well, we'll talk about the thing that first comes to mind, I guess, since you know Oda very well and everything. There was an interesting exchange that Oda was having with a few of the dancers, and I guess Marie kind of got roped into there as well. How do I put it? Like Oda seems to know something's up because they were mentioning to the girls that this is to be kind of on like kind of high alert, not to be so loosey goosey in a sense. I guess hinting at that there's issues or something greater kind of going on around us, and something kind of that could reach out to kind of like interfere with people's enjoyment, I guess, in a way.
Well, to be frank, it's like everything you described to me. It's like I'll admit that I've known Oda to speak that way for it's like my entire life. It's like she's very it's like and Alhana it's like Adelpha seems to be trying to figure out it's like trying to place an exact word for this. It's like fault it's like trying it's like struggling in the sense of it's like well it's like she has always scolded me for not conducting myself properly. It's like if I were to put it. So it's like I'll admit it doesn't sound too out of place for her to be it's like scolding it's like anyone else for it. Although I suppose I should wonder why it's like Marie and the others were it's like nearby to begin with.
Yeah, that, I mean, maybe they're just, relaxing from all the hard work today. I'm not sure. Nothing here is going the same as it typically does, which, I mean, sure, we've only had like so many of these in our lifetime that we've been a part of, but at the same time, this one seems especially different, almost like something else is kind of going on, sort of like back in season 1.
I'm not confident that I quite follow.
How should I put it? It's things just it's usually an intense there's tense moments and everything in this, and there's usually a lot of people high strung, but it has a different feeling to it. It has a different kind of atmosphere to it than normal. Like I can't really put a finger on it. It's just things don't feel like the kind of thing I expect for the intense atmosphere of these kind of events. wholly unique to it. It feels like.
Well, what do you expect exactly? And like, it's like Adelpha kind of like gestures as though it's like for them to, it's like walk together as they talk, as though perhaps to help it's like to help the train of thought. It's like perhaps run a little better.
And Sarah just kind of follows along with that kind of idea and following before just being like, I can't really put it to words. It's a feeling and nothing more really. I mean, sort of like that thing where it's just, and she kind of taps a little, like kind of slowly at her forehead. Intuition in a way. It's not something I can explain in a scientific way. Just something doesn't feel right, and everything that we've been talking about just makes me feel even more on edge on that.
Well, it's like, well, I think I can, it's like somewhat understand what you're, it's like saying with that. It does seem like everything is more, I'm not sure if paranoid is like quite the word I'm looking for, but I can see where you're getting at. How it's like, although it's like with that said, it's like, has your day been going well?
And at this, as much as Sarah really is wanting to kind of portray like the sense of like, yes, everything is fine, is not too hard after all the time you've kind of have experienced with Sarah at this point, that like her eyes betray her very much. That something is lingering in the back of her head and everything, as she's just like, yeah, everything's fine. I mean, aside from that, I mean, just kind of need to figure things out. That's all.
What kind of things? Well, if you don't mind me asking.
And she just kind of is like, it's okay. Don't say anything outside of this, but it's nagging at the back of my mind. Just Frida mentioning like, as we take our time, other people disappear and everything. And I understand where Frida's coming from. I really do. Helping other people, it's what I like. But I also can't put myself out too much, or else I kind of lose my home. Oh, I'm sorry. More details than I need to mention, but yeah, it's just been nagging at the back of my mind.
It sounds like confess.
I would say that's probably confess.
Okay. Make a connection. When you make a connection, describe something you do with another protagonist. All right. Did Adele enjoy this?
I think, let's see. I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe this as enjoy so much as basically perhaps concern. So I suppose probably technically enjoy isn't quite it's like probably wouldn't be the way to describe it.
Okay. So one die for confess, and then I think you also said you have an ability that you get an
Yes.
additional die. All right, so 2 dice.
So 2 dice and roll.
4. All right. So Adele gets, oh, too many tabs open. 3 links with Sarah. All right. That brings us to the conclusion of the downtime phase. Next up is the mission phase. It sounds like the magical girls were reconvening momentarily at the hideout to establish how they would like to proceed. So if that's true, and I think that sounds like a great opportunity, just have everybody come back together, have a scene where everybody comes back together and figure out what mission specifically the magical girls want to go on.
So I guess the first question is, when you buy, I mean, like, what kind of mission? Like, are we thinking like, oh, we venture into the fun house and we intend to kind of go delve further into it, or what kind of thing are we talking about?
Yeah, so I think that sort of narrative specifics is something that will come up in the scene, but then mechanically, it gives us a list of missions on the series tab on the right side when you scroll down. Right now, we're at tier 2 of our investigation, so we can select tier 1 and tier 2 missions without a penalty on the engagement roll. There's other things that go into that too, but at least that will be fine. So you technically have those 4 to choose from. You wouldn't want to roll Brave the Abyss until you're ready to wrap things up anyway. So these are the missions that it gives us to work with.
It's not just my housemate. Other dancers have gone missing from multiple houses. There's some kind of invitation, high quality invitation being sent out that's preying on everybody's weariness. I think that we need to find the people who have disappeared and find some way to rescue them or free them, if that's at all possible.
I think my sister's among them.
Among the people who've gone missing?
I hope that's the worst of it.
Why are you so certain of that? What did you find? What happened?
I went to see her earlier tonight. Rose wasn't in her tent, even though Gabriel said he'd just seen her. It could have been a trick of the light, but I thought I saw her reflection in the vanity she keeps. And as you described, I say, motioning to Frida, there was an invitation for a midnight dalliance with someone called the Masked Marquis.
Frida meets your eyes and sort of nods thoughtfully. There's a hint of sympathy in her eyes, but she doesn't say anything.
So, if we're talking about this masked person and everything, would you say that maybe we need to find this masked person? If we find them, we find the rest?
I suppose it's like an idea, but at the same time, it's like we don't necessarily know who or even it's like quite so much where or the why of this masked marquee. It's like I think the only it's like lead we have is like it all it's like probably it's like leads back from it's like the invitations, it's like the gifts, the reflections back to it's like the fun house that I had encountered. Unless anybody else has any other leads.
I think I would like to see this funhouse.
Likewise.
I don't see why we not go there first, at least. If it turns out to be nothing, it'll hopefully lead us at least in a direction, right?
Speaking mechanically, is this cleansing, face a creature of the abyss, or seek answers?
Ooh.
Man.
Does the funhouse count as a creature of the abyss?
We'll just say it's all 3. Because you guys have a high enough investigation tier. Let's see here. So cleansing, free a special person or place from the grip of the abyss. The Maze of Mirrors could definitely be that. Face a creature of the abyss. A deadly creature has emerged to advance the abyss's agenda. Stop it. There might be things afoot. Look for clues to the nature of the abyss or its intentions in unexpected places. Investigation does not reduce by half after this mission. I see. I don't think this is an unexpected place, probably. I think you very much expect there to be.
If anything, I feel like from the sounds of it, we're trying to maybe just free some people from a place at the moment, and we don't necessarily know if there is a creature there or not. Just that our intent sounds like right now to free people.
Yeah, as far as motivation goes, I think cleansing suits it. It's like the best currently.
I would say I agree. I agree with cleansing. I would say that we don't necessarily know that it's going to be possible to free people from this thing with the information that we have, but I feel like Frida at least is willing to give it a try.
Yeah, I'm like, I think at this point everybody's at least on the mindset of we have people we need to get out of this situation. How we do it, what is even involved in that, we'll figure that detail out in a moment.
Okay, I think that helps us set the stakes for it, at least, as to the intentions and what's on the line. All right, so we make an engagement roll. So I think what we'll do is we'll put together the engagement roll, make it, and then we'll take our first break, and then we'll come back, we'll jump into it. So on the Clocks and Rules tab, the engagement roll tab section is open. When you start a mission, assemble a dice pool and make an engagement roll, then cut to the action. So start with 1d for every mission. So we have 1, plus 1d for each. So these are questions we'll answer together. Is the mission particularly heroic or noble?
I mean, it's both of those things. I don't know if it is
Yeah.
particularly heroic or noble, but I think it is.
Okay.
I mean, we're going into the unknown, potentially in harm's way. I think that's pretty heroic in
Yeah,
its
I'm
own way.
trying to save my sister.
Does this mission follow up on your investigation? Yes.
What? No.
Does the mission determine the fate of a friend? Is Rose a friend?
Yeah, I think so.
See also the brother of the brother of the dancer that Frida knows.
Rebecca's brother, yeah.
Rebecca's brother, yeah.
All right, so we're at four dice. Minus 1 dice for each. Does the mission reflect your worst parts?
I would say this reflects more of our better parts, if anything, because we're taking initiative and we're trying to help people.
I'm not sure what your worst parts are, to be honest.
That's a good question on that
one. Something to think about. I'm not sure. Are you acting rashly or on little information?
This one you could probably argue.
We know it's bad, but I think we don't know what we're getting into. We are walking into what could be a trap.
Probably a trap. Are mundane troubles getting in the way? I'm not sure how to interpret this one.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything mundane like actively obstructing us currently.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, but I have to be at work at the same time as the mission. There's nothing like that.
I mean, yeah, because like I don't think Regalia right now is is like trying to hunt me down here at the moment. I don't think any of us have any obligations left unturned at the moment.
Regalia is in like a bed of petals, sleeping, getting her beauty sleep for the night.
Oh, well, good. She can stay there.
Yeah. Okay. So and then the last one is minus 1 dice for each difference in tier. We do not have a difference in tier. We're good to go. So we have 3 dice. Who would like to be the one to roll? Dun dun dun.
Don't have me roll. We've
I
already
was gonna
seen
say
my
that
luck.
we yeah. So
Who hasn't rolled yet?
Boomie, have you rolled?
Not this session so far, but I did roll twice in the previous session for my downtimes.
Same.
You know what, David?
I'm willing to. Oh, go on. Sorry.
I'm like, David seems to have had some pretty good rolls. Maybe we should try to have David do the rolls.
That's right. That's right. There's no fallacy there. We're gonna do how many dice?
3d6.
3, and we're looking for the highest one as always, right?
That is correct. And this is
all right.
How things start.
There's a 6.
Nice. Okay. So
fantastic.
Could be better, but that's really good. So good result. You start off in a controlled position, and you're setting the tempo. All right. So when we get back, we'll jump into it. 10 minutes. See you then. Fumi, Clarice, are you back? Okay. So I think we cut straight to the maze of mirrors. It's virtually the same as when Adele first approached it, although now it's a little cleaner because Adele picked up the trash. As you begin to approach, the air is cooler. You begin to hear, the closer you get, the gentle chimes and music, something that sounds like a music box. Unlike before, just looking at it from the outside, there is no frosted glass. It's just very cool. Making your way through the maze of mirrors, it's disorienting, and the music intensifies louder and louder and louder until it no longer sounds like just a music box. It sounds like a full like orchestra, but at a distance. You make your way to the center, and there are 3 dancers frozen over in strange, awkward, distorted positions. They appear to be reaching out to one of the mirrors here in the center. Adele would notice that they're no longer in the same position they were previously. It's like they've moved, but very slowly. And the mirror they're reaching out to now reveals a staircase leading down into darkness. The steps themselves made of glass.
That is certainly a new addition, I will say. I'm quite certain the statues have also changed since the last time I've been here.
I look at the statues, do they look like the petrified forms of festival dancers, of pageant dancers?
Yes.
Is it? I guess the first thing I guess is like with these petrified festival dancers and all. You said that Adele knows them move, but we wouldn't see any kind of even slow sensation of movement at this current time.
I think moving up close and waiting a while, you can see that like ever so slowly, just slowly moving through space, as if caught in a very slow dance.
And out of curiosity, do they emanate kind of, because they're ice, they're kind of like ice, like you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they kind of emanate a chill coming off of them?
This area is certainly cold.
Yeah, but like it's like that thing of like when you're near like a open freezer or whatever, that kind of chill that kind of falls off of it. Is that the case with these?
I think it is. If you reach out to touch them, like just before, it's like reaching into a super cold freezer and just grabbing hold of something. It's like almost burns. They're very, very cold.
Sarah's just gonna kind of look at Freedom and all. It's like, do you know them in particular?
I will ask you, Danny. Do I recognize? I guess would I recognize Rebecca's brother by sight, or would there be something in his livery that would be obvious? Or
yeah, probably. I mean, Rebecca's just a dancer, so not necessarily, unless you want to establish that you have a good working relationship with her. I think by like livery or something like that, like there would probably be signs. If you found the body, you could go through pockets, for example. Kind of digital readout.
I think she shakes her head a little bit and says, "I'm not sure, but I don't think it matters. These people are being preyed on."
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I was just kind of curious if we even knew who they were. as much as it's daunting to say, wouldn't you guys kind of say our best bet is to kind of follow those staircases? I mean, it looks like a trap, but I don't know what else we're going to do to help them out of their current predicament.
Did you say they were? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask if they were these three dancers. Were they kind of? Did you say they were positioned around like a central mirror or something like that?
So I'm picturing the center of this maze of mirrors to be like circular, with like
Okay.
probably multiple corridors coming into it, and they're in the center, and they're frozen in this strange dance where they're like reaching out to one of the mirrors, but that mirror is no longer there. It's a staircase that leads down into darkness.
Oh, well then obviously, yeah, that's the move.
It's wonderful, like best of the best. Like this must have taken centuries to practice. Music is echoing up out of the stairwell.
Well, since Violet even agrees that it's probably the best way to go. Do we want to do this in a way where like someone leads and other people watch back or each other's backs? Or are we just kind of gonna trust that this is not going to immediately attack us when we go in there?
So you do have a controlled position. So I'm just going to probably move you down the stairs, and then you can make your decision of what you would like to do when you see what's there. Give you the benefit of that roll. So you make your way down in whatever order makes the most sense, winding your way through darkness. It is also disorienting. The staircase just kind of seems to meander back and forth through space. It's dark, but the hallway is lined with mirrors as well, so you can see a reflection as you move down, just dim. Eventually, there is a bright light below, and that's like the music is intense. You step out onto like a balcony, or I guess whatever it is, where you step out onto it, and then it's got stairs that come down on either side and lead out to this massive ballroom that itself is like the walls are shaped in weird jagged positions of like fragmented mirrors, but massive. And there are, not entirely dissimilar to what we saw at the hideout, massive chandeliers suspended from a darkened ceiling that kind of goes on forever. It looks like there's rooms past this major one. You can't quite see into it at this angle, but here, in this massive cavernous space, there are quite a few dancers, and they appear to be frozen over, but less frozen, less statuesque as the other ones. They're more like frosted over. It's clear that these are girls from the pageant. And dancing among them are these figures, somewhat humanoid in shape, but fashioned out of jagged glass shards that themselves look like a smoky mirror. At the moment, they're just dancing in this sort of strange movement, like as it churns almost, like the dancers move in a sort of a circular pattern across the dance floor. What do you do?
Would you say that we're in a spot where those figures would not notice us, or would we be noticeable and they're just not paying us any heed?
I think that's the case. I think coming out where you are in the staircase, it's plain to see, but nobody seems to be paying you any attention. They all seem to be entranced and dancing.
Can we see who's playing the music?
No.
Is that a matter of it just being, is that the light occluding it, or just like, is the music sourceless, or is it coming from the bright light?
I think it's sourceless. It's just emanating from this space.
Is Rose among these dancers?
You do not see Rose.
Okay.
In this immediate space, anyway.
And how many? You said there's like quite a few. Like, would you say there's like at least more than a handful of them then?
Yeah, I think so. Enough that if the things turned violent, they would be, a threat.
Well, Sarah just kind of looking towards kind of, well, our one teammate who has a little bit more familiarity in the past, I guess you could say, from season 1 of being, I guess, their background and all. I'd say like she's gonna kind of look at Frida and be like, do you have any idea of like how we should maybe approach this? Do we want to just sneak down there?
Ooh, okay. Frida Frida frowns and says, I think if they don't see us, I think if they haven't seen us, that gives us a position, that gives us the ability to get closer, get to a solid vantage point. But at some point we're going Frida's inclination is to like sneak down there into the center of them and then blow up, or similar. Like, as long as they haven't noticed us, they're probably wrapped up in their own processes. But presumably we're going to have to do something that gets the attention of the whole room, and Frida is kind of inclined to do that as soon as we can get the most leverage out of it.
So let's see, this place is like, this cavernous place is basically like a giant ballroom, was it?
Yep.
Let's
Massive.
see, does it look like there's any other locations, for example, it's like doors or anything that might possibly lead to something, or is it just this?
Yeah,
like,
so opposite you all in the ballroom, past the dancers, are additional hallways that lead to spaces beyond. You just can't quite make out what's there at this angle. You'll have to get closer or move through them to see what's in those rooms. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Adele kind of just sort of like, it's like leans over, it's like back towards Frida and just, it's like, and what exactly, it's like, do you have in mind? I'm hoping it's not, it's like given the, okay, it's like occasion and the theme of this place, I hope you're not, it's like, think of anything crass or tasteless, so to speak.
I think Frida raises an eyebrow at that, and as a player, I'm wondering if we should sneak through here and beat up whoever comes next. Like, yes, Frida grimaces a little bit, because her first impulse was to pull aggro and start trying and see if we could like burn the frost off of everything. But
Well,
I think Frida frowns and says it would be hard to be more crass than our hosts are currently being.
That is true. I will give you that.
But I don't see a controller in here. Do you?
Do I perceive or recognize anything as like along the lines of that?
It's pretty much as described. So nobody in particular stands out other than the girls. If you would like to do some kind of action or something to gather information, I think that's possible. I think that would be our initial controlled role. Or you can hold on to that.
Frida, it's like, do you recognize these? It's like, do you recognize these girls?
These are dancers from the pageant.
All right, it's like, The way they move, is it akin to is like what you've been teaching them with your choreography?
That's a fair question for the GM. Like,
I don't think so. I think this is like very classic ballroom-esque dancing, something that's very, very out of fashion.
no, but everyone looks very engrossed in the process. I think we can make it through this room without them noticing us.
And at that kind of comment, Sarah is like has like just a little idea pop in their head. It's like, well, maybe it'd be even easier for us to kind of sneak through if rather than moving as a full group, if we kind of split into two people going one way and another two going the other, it would at least not gain as much attention, especially if maybe if we had to, maybe joining them in the dance will make us not stand out as much. I'm not entirely certain, but I was thinking maybe that'd be an idea where maybe you and Adele go down together, and me and Violet as a group as well, and kind of see if we can maybe just kind of sneak our way on through.
Do the dancers and the shadow dancers, was it? It's like, do they seem to be dancing in pairs?
Yep, they are in pairs of frosted over pageant dancers and these humanoid shapes fashioned from jagged smoky mirror.
I am inclined to, it's like agree with, it's like Sarah. It's like, as I said, given the theme and the mood of this, it's like place. It's like, I would be inclined to say it would be fitting for us to, it's like dance our way through, wouldn't it?
Certainly.
Yeah.
I'll lead. And I smile sweetly at Adelpha.
And Adelpha kind of just, it's like, smirks back. It's like before saying, it's like, are you certain you know how? And it's like simply sort of holds her hand out and offer.
So mechanically, you should probably be the one leading, but Frida is being
Frida's being difficult.
Frida is being difficult. So if you and I are doing a group action, I can lead a conceal.
Yep, this definitely sounds like somebody's leading the team through a dance through this space to avoid being noticed, to blend through. So there's a teamwork action, like Will said, lead a group action. So whoever would like to lead the group action, they're kind of the one on point.
If it's just Adele and me, I'm willing to lead. If it's all four of us, it better be Adele leading.
That's
Either way,
probably right.
I feel like if we're doing the split up into the pairings and everything like that to get through, it makes sense that each grouping would probably try and like do their own conceals to see how they do.
Okay. In that case, somebody can make the roll and the other could assist, for example, to get additional dice. It's up to you however you want to do it. I think it probably works out the same. Just depends on who takes the stress. So let's start with Frida and Adele. So you move out into the dance floor. I could see flow or conceal, either case. It sounds super appropriate to me.
I think I am trying to mimic the motions of the other dancers and the motions of the shadow creatures or of the mirror creatures and kind of the uncanniness of them. So I'd be rolling conceal for this.
Okay. Your position is controlled. Your effect is standard. You'll make it through all the way to the other side. If you succeed, there's the chance that you might make it part way if you don't make it all the way. That's kind of the risk at the moment. You might get caught up in the dance.
Okay.
So you have one dice at the moment with conceal. You can push yourself, or Adele could assist.
Yeah, it's like Adele, it's like certainly assist, although it's like probably insufferably almost, it's like kind of competitive in a sense, because this is a sort of atmosphere that they were, it's like sort of raised under and everything. And so I imagine it's like this thing where it's like it's like both kind of start moving, and it's like Adele kind of, it's like does this sort of annoying thing of technically letting Frida lead, but at the same time sort of, it's like, but at the same time it's like simultaneously trying to, it's like guide the two of them. It's like in a sense in, it's like a very certain pace, a very certain direction, everything. As so it's like analyzing, it's like similarly analyzing how the, it's like other dancers are moving and everything, but it's like given that they were, it's like brought up with this sort of thing, probably has a slightly better idea of, it's like how the rhythm and the motions go and everything. So it's like this annoying thing that like technically they're letting Frida lead, but they are also, it's like trying to sort of control, it's like, or basically help guide, it's like how the dancing goes. But it's like other than that, it's like, yeah, they're assisting or trying their best to.
All right, so that's a stress for Adele, and Frida gets an additional dice. You're at 2 dice at the moment. Other potential modifiers are you could push yourself. I'm just going through this because not all of us are familiar with the mechanics. So you could push yourself for 2 stress and get an additional die. Or you could ask if there's a poisoned promise you could take. We're at a controlled position at the moment, so it's kind of up to you.
I don't think I need to, unless somebody has a really juicy poison promise they want to toss out there, I'm not super inclined to take one this roll.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
Nothing on the promise for me, but yeah.
okay. That looks like a partial.
All right, so a 3, right?
Oh no, it's a 3. That's a failure.
So on a 1 through 3, you falter. Press on by seizing a risky opportunity, or withdraw and take a different approach. It's your choice.
Risky opportunity.
Okay. I think it basically looks the same. You're moving through and there's the opportunity, but then suddenly it's like a bunch of dancers just move in the way. You're caught up and you have to go around again. This time though, I think if you don't make it, like last time it was not making it all the way through. This time is you risk peeling off attention from some or maybe even all of the dancers.
Okay.
All right, so we start off at 1 dice again. Or do we want to pause there and we'll see how the other 2?
Let's check out the other group.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
I'd say at this, because kind of following the suit of like how Frida kind of just self-inserting themselves as the lead in a way in the dance. Sarah just it kind of is like Sarah just being like, I've already done a lot of leading of dances when practicing with Marie. Shall I lead? Or do you feel more confident with that?
Oh, feel free.
And yeah, so at that, Sarah kind of just offers their hand in a way of like, hey, are you ready to go for a dance?
Lead the way, and I'll take your hand, and off we go.
And we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna set it that as controlled, but you probably started about the same time the others 2 did.
Okay.
So what action are you going to roll?
And let me think here on this one. I think in this case, Sarah's kind of thinking, okay, one way to really conceal and work within a dancing setting as a whole, rather than trying to go for the obvious concealment, be more expressive with the dance, as dancing isn't more of a form of expression. So maybe joining in this in the kind of expression that they're doing will help her kind of mimic and kind of glide along here.
Okay. So you don't have any dots in express.
Nope.
So you're currently sitting at 0 dice, which is 2d6, take the lowest. You can push yourself for an additional die. Violet can assist.
And pushing myself is let me remember here. Okay, but take 2 stress or accept. I'm going to push myself and defer addition, and I'll take the 2 additional stress.
All right, so you take 2 stress. You have 1 dice at the moment. Now, Violet does have links with Sarah, so you could spend a link instead of taking stress.
That's true. I'm happy to do that.
However you want to do it.
Yeah, I'll spend a link.
Okay.
So you have 2 dice.
All right. So, and then, so now I no longer have the negative effect of that, at least. And then is Violet assisting, I'm assuming? Or...
Yes.
Okay. So 2 dice, you said?
Yeah, unless Violet is spending a link and assisting, then it's 3.
I'm happy to do that.
Okay, so then 3. Well, here's hoping. Please don't be all ones.
Is that 2 links that I spend then? Okay.
1 link and 1 stress for the assist. So
okay.
Link to help and then a stress for the assist. Nice.
Cool.
6.
6.
Woo!
Make it through. You do it. So you're on the other side, just off the main ballroom, just kind of in one of the hallways that leads off, safe and sound.
And just kind of like making it through, Sarah just kind of like stops and like puts a hand to her chest and kind of catching her breath a little bit at like the kind of, she was kind of really kind of tensed up, like kind of worried about how this was going to work out, and just being like, thanks for the catch there, Violet. I think I might have almost tripped us a few times there.
I'm sure I have some kind of pithy comeback. So yeah.
So we see Adele and Frida dancing around again, caught up in a group of the dancers swirling around them closer and closer.
Frida will not offer, but if Frida will not request this, but if Adele offers to take the lead, Frida will grudgingly switch up.
It's like seeing the situation, Adele, it's like kind of just, it's like sort of murmurs like it's like, well, I don't blame you for it's like not being, it's like familiar with this sort of dance, since it wouldn't really be pertinent to your upbringing. And it's like, with another word, kind of just like, it's like sort of, it's like sort of like slowly just sort of like switches to, it's like leading. It's like, and it's like the rivals are rivaling. It's like, as so basically not bothering to sort of like knowing how it's like knowing how Frida is and everything, just wordlessly, it's like immediately starts, it's like sort of switching to leading, it's like in the dance. And I'm going to, it's like, go ahead and use flow for this.
Just make sure not, I say through a smile, just make sure not to enjoy yourself too much. Don't want to end up like all our friends here. I'm going to assist you by spending a stress.
Do you have 2 dice at the moment? It's risky standard.
Okay, let's see. A 5.
Okay, you do it, but there's a consequence. You make it through, but 2 pairs of the dancers sort of separate and follow the 2 of you, and they stop dancing as well, as if to mingle, like enchanted, not really present. They're sort of as if at a party. They're sort of there with you, accompanying you, moving along with you for now.
Let's see. So Adelpha basically kind of like pulls Frida, it's like close from her and goes, it's like before, it's like basically it's like saying it's like I'll it's like well, it's like I was raised for this, it's like sort of thing. So it's like I'll take it from here and kind of just it's like immediately it's like releases it's like Frida in the direction of it's like to the direction of it's like Sarah and it's like Violet. It's like before it's like spinning it's like back around to it's like sort of as though it's like to return the favor of sort of it's like mingling with the it's like with the dancers that it's like have basically accosted it's like them.
So okay. So if I heard right, you're letting the other magical girls take the lead, and you're just kind of keeping back with the two pairs of dancers, just in case, as you all
Yes.
kind of move through.
Mhm.
All right.
And kind of just slowly it's like basically trying to give them an opportunity to move ahead, and then it's like maybe seize the opportunity it's like to catch up with them it's like later. I do also have the special ability synchronized where when leading I take at most one stress regardless of the number of failed rolls during a group action. So it's like I don't know if that's relevant in any way.
Sorry, let me read it real quick. Oh, okay. Not quite yet.
Mechanically, if all four of us had group action across the room and Adele had led, that would have been ideal. But this was hilarious. So
Yeah, it was. But yeah.
Okay, yeah. So as the three magical girls move forward, I assume through the hallway, the two pairs kind of follow up behind, as
try not to martyr yourself too soon. I mutter to Adele.
You see in the room beyond, a smaller ballroom, there is at the center what looks like a jagged, almost mountainous, boulderish shape made out of jagged fragments of mirror, but large scale, like the size of a room. Just this hulking sculpture almost. And dancing tightly around it, you see another figure made out of smoky glass, but this one isn't as jagged in edges as the others. It's more refined. It's artistic in its broken beauty. And across its, where it would be its face, its head, appears to be like what would resemble a mask shape. And dancing along with them is Rose.
Uh-huh.
I guess the first thing that and all is I'm assuming this is pretty apparent based on the invitation. That is the masked person that we're probably assuming, right, for that invitation.
I think so.
Well, just knowing my character, and the thing of like one wanting to kind of help out in this situation. Two, they kind of technically made a other promise earlier of helping protect Rose. And so she sees Rose here with already in this situation. So she is not thinking like anything of like, oh, I should not just go straight into just trying to like knock this creature away from Rose. So that's what right now, at least, she is already kind of making her way. I would say she's already making the move to kind of like almost kind of shoulder tackle in there and knock the thing away from Rose unless somebody stops her.
I won't.
I was not expecting that from Sarah.
Yeah.
So I think Frida looks Frida takes one step back and looks over to meet Violet's eyes and just sort of, what you do, I do, and then suddenly Sarah is running right past both of them.
Yep, she is rushing right on in. She is going to do whatever she can to literally separate Rose from this Max figure, and kind of doing a full body movement to do that.
Yeah. Okay. What action do you plan to use?
That is a good question. That is a very good question. What would you feel fits even remotely into that?
Defy sounds like exactly what it is.
Yeah, that sounds like Defy to me.
Yeah. I will. How about this? I will chase after you, but I'm not going to get there in time to prevent you from doing anything.
Okay, so you're at 0 dice at the moment, rushing bullheaded in. This is a desperate action, and your effect is limited.
Yeah.
So
sweet XP.
Yep. Yeah, so that's true. It is desperate. So you get a mark in XP in.
Oh, I didn't even think about that part.
So go ahead and mark that now before we forget.
Yeah.
This is the Masked Marquis, or some semblance of it, them, him. You're likely to take some kind of harm in this particular case, and it's not going to look pretty.
I don't doubt that.
And at best, you're probably going to get entangled up in the two of them.
It's gonna be a party. Am I allowed to do another push myself option?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yep, absolutely. You can also
okay.
So if you can push yourself, or you can ask if there's a poison promise. You can only do one or the other. One complicates situations narratively, and the other you spend stress for.
Well, so when it comes to poison promises, I guess I would like to know a little bit more about like how that looks. Like, do I like?
Yeah. So a poison promise, like it's just like in Blades in the Dark, where you can ask for I forget what it's called in Blades in the Dark, but somebody in the group, you can even offer one yourself, that it's something that's going to complicate the situation either immediately or for you in the near future. It doesn't necessarily have to be immediate, like related to the immediate situation. It's an opportunity for some juicy complications.
I've got one. This action is so bold that the Abyss, either the Masked Marquis or the powers that flow through them, will remember Sarah and take an interest in them as a person on their radar after this. If they haven't, I mean, that ship could have sailed in season 1, but
well, we don't know. I mean, because as I was talking about this, and when I was thinking about this for my character and all earlier with friends and all, I like to think that one reason Sarah has not actually transcended is in season 1, I was just a side character that suddenly kind of steadily, as season 1 ended, kind of became more involved.
Yeah, so if you want to accept
that makes sense.
Yeah, I'll accept that as I'll do that poison promise. That sounds like it'll be fun.
Okay, so you have a die.
A whole die.
A whole die.
Oh, that got you out of 0 die range. Excellent.
Woo! All right. Well, let's see if I can get lucky today. That's 3.
All right. So you move up next to them, bullheaded, but the Marquis is too great a dancer. He just casually, as if just this was part of the movement of the dance, he just moves Rose out of the way, and they twirl around. You kind of go sideways past them. He reaches out. The tips of his fingers are sharp, just like the edge of a broken glass, and he just gently, like ever so gently, just like scratches the edge of like your shoulder, your arm, wherever your skin is bare. It leaves just almost like thin paper cuts, but then you just feel this overwhelming sense of sorrow. And so I think what this looks like is a level 3 harm, like utterly despondent.
Okay, so how do I do this? Because yeah.
So that's what it looks like at the moment. You can try to resist this if you would like. And in which case, you'll describe how you avoid this, or you avoid the brunt of it, and we'll knock it down.
And with the attempt to resist it, is it like another roll, or how does that work?
Yep. You describe how you're trying to resist it, and you pick that attribute, and we roll that many dice, and that determines how much stress you take.
Okay, and with resisting it,
sorry, in this case, it is, sorry, you don't necessarily choose. It depends on the consequence you're resisting. In the case, it's despair and heartbreak, so it's Moon.
Okay, well, hey, look at that. It's and when I'm resisting, am I resisting that negative, like emotional feeling, or what am I doing? I guess with what part of it am I resisting? Because obviously I got cut. I mean, I don't think I'm resisting that part.
I think that's exactly what, just as you described. You're mustering your inner strength and your feelings, your friendship, trying to reach out and save Rose. You're like, no, I'm not going to let this despair take hold in my heart. I'm going to push against this, and so you manage to resist the bulk of it. So if you choose to resist it,
yeah, I would say just because that is my character, and they are not going to they're incapable of. Right now, Rose is still in a situation they are dead set on. I have to help Rose at this point. They're gonna at least try to resist this.
I think in this case, so it'll knock down to a level 1 harm instead of a level 3. You could call it like gentle or sweet sorrow rather than utter despondency. And then go ahead and roll your 2 dice.
Okay. I am just not good with these dice.
Okay. It's 6 minus 3, so that's 3 stress you take.
3 stress, got it.
You haven't eclipsed yet. We'll get there.
I do have links with Sarah. Do I have? It's like, would I have to be in the room? It's like with her in order to, it's like spend them.
Nope. You can just spend them working that however narratively makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Your inner magical girl connection.
I guess, how does it look like for Sarah, first and foremost?
I mean, I guess it could be part of it is like it could even be just our bond and everything, and that reminding me of like I like that sense of like that promise I have with you, and that little heart to heart I have with you of like I can't afford to let this this sorrow really hold me down. I have things I need to do, and your kind of talk kind of earlier kind of in a way kind of reminding me that I'm not really alone, and I can actually slightly open up to people.
Yeah, would that work?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the
And
sorry, go ahead. The marquee twirls around. Sarah goes moving past, and the marquee moves up against this big jagged sculpture in the center, and he turns Rose around so that she's pressed up against his chest and facing outward, facing the rest of you. And it's clear like she's got some kind of like she's enchanted. She's not, doesn't seem to really be there. And he holds her tight, and he puts his fingertips up against her throat. And he says, "Careful, this one's very fragile."
I would like to do something if no one else has any ideas.
By all means, I think at this point, Sarah is pretty much almost looking to Violet, because like it's the thing of like we gotta do something. It's your sister here.
Yeah. I'll step forward and say, don't mess with her. I would be honored to have a dance with you.
Yeah, he says, So when he speaks, I don't think it's coming from him. I think it's sort of emanating, particularly from the dancers like behind the two of you. It's this weird echoing situation that's happening. And his voice comes through. Does this mouse belong to you?
She belongs to herself.
And I will let this beauty sit with the beast. And he gently sets her down, like among these like weird lumbering shapes with this sculpture in the center. He puts it there and he steps forward and he offers his hand. I would love to have a dance with you.
I step forward and place my hand into his.
There's this strong, overwhelming sense of despair you immediately feel starting to come through, but it's like controlled. You can feel the presence, but he's not lashing out. He says, I had expected others to take this opportunity. As he like pulls you in to take you for a dance.
Mm-hmm.
He says, Frida, for example. And he starts to dance with you. What do you do?
Oh, wow. I'm trying. What I want to do. I'm feeling like we haven't really made it to physical combat, and I'm having a hard time shifting a 2-person dance into a 3-person brawl, or a 3-person. Yeah. What?
I like that scene. He passes, he twirls one around and then dances with the other and then comes back.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I think I will step up and step up and say there's room for more. We make the rules here. There's room for more than 2 in this dance. I have engaged a foe. Neither of us may back down until one of us is defeated.
Okay.
Yep.
I was just quickly double checking that to make sure that it didn't negate Violet's involvement.
No, that's yeah. I hadn't realized it, but that ability totally tracks.
I love that. He says, "Oh, good. I was afraid that you had lost what we saw of you previously. I had hoped that the debate would lead you here."
I will try to usher Rose away. Or is she frozen to where she can't even like walk, like statuesque?
Okay, so yeah, so you're going to move away from the masked marquee during this dance and then go try to grab hold of Rose.
As long as Frida's occupying him, I'm going to step away and attend to her. Yes.
Yeah, as you move closer to Rose, you see this weird thing going on with this center statue. It looks like there's a reflection, but there's nothing here to give the reflection. It's of a young man in his teenage years. It looks like he should be positioned like in the center of this sculpture because it is made of like fragmented mirrors, but there is no young man in the room. Trapped in the mirror, perhaps. You see that as you get closer to Rose. What do you do?
So there's a young man trapped in there?
Mm-hmm.
Do I recognize it? Or him?
I don't think so. He's hunched over, almost like a fetal position with his hands over his eyes, his face.
I will call Adele and Sarah and point this out to them, see if they see it as well. And I'm still probably going to prioritize getting Rose, at least next to me.
Just give Adele and Sarah an opportunity to respond if they would like.
Yeah, I think so.
Am I still mingling with the other two dancers? It's like in the previous room.
So they've moved
that's
up
true.
with you. So you're at the edge of the hallway. You can see all of this played out before you. The four dancers, well, the two dancers and the two mirrored pairs are there next to you, just kind of standing there watching as if mingling at a ballroom, like a ball, sort of pantomiming.
Okay, so I can see what's going on in the
Yes.
it's like next room over. Okay. Let's see. So the two pairs are still pantomiming, basically socializing with me.
Mhm.
And I kind of just it's like I kind of swiftly sort of like make an effort to sort of it's like essentially Adele like takes it's like sort of steps it's like one foot kind of like starts stepping back and kind of so it's like and kind of like kneels himself to it's like a polite bow as though trying to excuse themselves. It's like before saying it's like if it's like well this was a wonderful it's like time I must excuse myself if you will.
Let's have an action roll with that.
Okay. Let's see. I think that would probably be flow.
Okay. I think it's a risky standard. They might try to take you up in a dance and preoccupy you.
Okay, so let's see. That would be one die. Nope, that is a one.
Okay. So as you bow, when you come up from your bow, they immediately come in and just kind of forcibly like grab your hands and then move into a dance. The four of them sort of moving together, like trading you as a dance partner back and forth, like trying to make sure that you can't escape them. That is a consequence. You're welcome to resist that if you would like.
Yeah. Let's see. I think essentially it's like in moving along with the it's like with this it's like dance of trading between partners and everything just sort of it's like sort of goes along it's like within everything while looking for an opportunity to sort of it's like break away. And so I think that would likely be flow again.
Okay. I'm not sure sun, moon, or stars in this particular case, but they're all one, so it works. Yep, so we'll see how much stress you take.
That is a 6, actually.
Nice. Okay. So you take 0 stress and you break away and are able to join Violet.
And then let's see. So finally joining with the rest of the crew. Look, I didn't martyr myself too badly. Let's see. So I guess the current situation that it's like I see as it's like finally properly enter the room is basically Frida is dancing with our masked marquis.
Yep.
While Violet is trying to figure out how to basically escort Rose out of the situation while pointing out the reflection of the young man in the mirror.
Yeah.
Or statue next to it.
Right.
Okay. Let's see. What is Sarah doing in the meanwhile?
Sarah, I would assume after getting kind of cut and kind of like shoved aside in a sense, they're kind of like just right now kind of picking themselves off the floor, kind of thing, and kind of like gripping at a little bit at the cut that they got on their shoulder.
I think first thing, given that sort of it's like situation, everything Adelpha's is like I'm going to immediately head over to it's like Sarah. It's like to analyze Sarah. It's like to basically analyze their wound and everything. And I'd like to spend another link to it's like help her recover. It's like another 2 stress by basically sort of like essentially trying to it's like help it's like by essentially like analyzing the wound and everything, seeing how serious it is and going like it's like I'm basically going it's like you did something foolhardy again, didn't you? It's like I would wish that it's like you went it's like throw yourself in it's like so recklessly like this. It's like we do still need you, you know?
And at that, she kind of like winces a little bit in that kind of sense of like she realizes that what she did was a little bit rash, to say the least. But the thing of but and her is just being like, her just being like, I couldn't control myself. I saw Rose in trouble, and I know how much they mean to Violet, so I just
No, I understand.
acted.
I do. It's like, believe me, I do. I'm not faulting you. I just want you to be a little more careful if you can.
No, you're right. But for now, I'm at least feeling better, and I mean, I've got plenty of cuts before, gesturing to like one of the several band-aids that she has already on her, and it's like, don't worry about me right now. Go help Violet and everything. I'll be right with you guys. I'm just gonna collect myself and recenter myself so I don't do something like that again.
So yeah, you can clear your 2 stress from that. The Mass Marquis twirls around with an elegant dance with Frida and says, "There's something about siblings, isn't there?" And he sort of, as he like pulls you out with one arm, with the other arm gestures towards Rose and Violet. And then I think at this point, Frida can see the reflection of the young man inside the sculpture up this close. And then he pulls Frida back in. He's like, but there's more. I have more playthings here now. And as Violet goes down to like grab hold of Rose and help her up, the whole big sculpture in the center begins to shift and move and unfurl into this big, lumbering, monstrous form fashioned out of mirrors. And it like opens this gaping maw, and just like this gust of cold air and this like quiet scream just kind of unfurls towards Violet. I think that's probably a good place to take our second break.
Oh boy.
Sure.
Okay. 5 or 10? 5?
That's fine.
Sounds good.
5 works.
Okay, so you're back?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. I started 2 clocks. A dance with the marquee, question mark, depending on how that goes with Frida, and the mirror monstrosity, which currently is aiming to keep Rose captured and contained. So this scene, this trap laid out by the marquis starts to unfurl. Also, I should say, you are more than welcome to transform, whenever, to transcend into your magical girl form. Whenever, you just get to do it once per mission.
Hey, don't worry about it. I'll get right on that here.
Except for you.
So Frida sniffs and tosses her head a little bit when or sniffs and rolls her eyes when in response to the marquee, and says oh man, sorry, don't be so vulgar and boring as to threaten, as to, you know, don't pay any attention to them. You're dancing with me. Do you have anything? Surely you had more in mind than insipid threats when you lured me here. Do you have a better offer than your do you have a better offer for me than your counterparts gave last time?
Tiki says, all in due time. Not all of the pieces have been laid out on the board yet. Many things are in motion. I think he continues to dance with you to keep you distracted, unless you want to like break into violence. He's content with the situation as it is.
Interesting. Okay. See, I thought I was distracting him, but now I have to reconsider.
And just out of curiosity, there's an idea I had that I would like to try to do to like potentially remove 2 stress from Frida with my link.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm down for that.
And it's just more or less after kind of dusting herself up a bit and kind of finally kind of staying up and seeing Frida's now in this beautiful waltz of sorts, I guess you could say. Her just completely no care for whatever decor is supposed to be set with this dance. She just kind of places both of her hands to kind of amplify her voice, and she kind of just calls out, it's like, and just kind of yells, Frida, don't let them badmouth you. Show them how much better you've become since they last saw you.
That sounds like a challenge. All right, so thank you. I'll clear 2 stress. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. When you're dancing with me, you pay attention to me. And I begin to your timetable ended the moment we arrived. And I'm going to transcend. Actually, what I do is I grip him tightly and hold him in place. And what does it look like for me to actively draw on his power?
Ooh, okay. I hadn't thought of that. I thought of what it looked like when you transform with the starlight stuff near him, but if you're drawing on his power, I think the reflective, like I said, he's fashioned from like smoky mirror. And I think what happens is the reflective part peels away and he just becomes like solid shadow glass, essentially, just like solid obsidian glass.
Okay. And so my skin becomes almost glass-like as the effect flows from him to me. and then as if from a furnace within, the glass glows with a bright fire. It's almost, it begins to sort of warp and flow as if the glass were being made molten from the inside.
Nice. Okay, this definitely sounds like you're weakening him here through the sheer drawing on his power.
Mm-hmm.
What do you roll?
I feel like this is Defy.
That sounds right to me.
This is straight up. We're doing my thing, not your thing.
Yeah. All right. So I think what this looks like is, in this instance, he's completely taken aback. He's completely surprised by it. He did not expect this move. You've outmaneuvered him. You are transformed now, so this is not desperate going up against him. It's just risky, and I think you have great effect.
Okay. I will push myself unless somebody has a good poison promise.
I have a poison promise.
Okay.
Rebecca was a ploy. That's not her brother. That's in the monster.
Is it explicitly Ian?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. All right.
You don't have to take it if you don't.
I want to see. I want to see where it goes.
Okay.
I was not expecting that. But do I know that now, or is that unbeknownst to Bellatrix?
I think when you transform, that's like when it all becomes clear. You get like a glimpse into how he's laid the field.
Okay, and in that case, you know how in Fellowship of the Ring, when the Balrog roars and its entire mouth is molten fire, that is Bellatrix's first reaction. Is her rage and dismay burns out of her face.
Nice. So you're at 2 dice at the moment, I think.
Only Alhena may assist me, and it sounds like Alhena is busy, so that's 2 dice.
Let's see. It's like while you're engaged with your foe, only your rival can assist you, and other foes will not interfere. Your rival. It's like, no, I think technically it's like me helping is like Sarah already resolved, basically. So let's see. I think it's like, yes, I can certainly assist you if it's like, let's see, how would this look per se? So it's like, how does it look for Frida right now? Or I guess at this point, Bellatrix.
Bellatrix is basically trying to trying to pull power out of the Maestro, rooting them in position and weakening their hold over everything here. And she's basically a furnace hungry with ambition.
Okay, so let's see. Adelpha will actually go ahead and take this opportunity to also transcend as they step forward and go, and here I thought you were actually going to properly learn how to dance. And essentially just kind of, I want to say what this probably looks like as they transcend is sort of like, let's see, essentially they kind of follow along suit with how Frida transcended, and that suddenly they sort of swoop in, take the closest thing to another hand, to the other hand of the masked marquee and everything, and sort of as they transcend and everything, they kind of build off the momentum of suddenly pulling him into them into a dance with them and everything. It's with each sort of with each step and each twirl you see, it's a part of them, changes, in tandem when they take a step. So does it's like their right leg sort of switches over, and when they it's like step forward with their left, so does that part of the uniform, until eventually it's like with a final sort of twirl. Together with them, they kind of the transformation is complete before sort of passing them back along to Frida. And I want to say in in their own dramatic fashion, suddenly take out their spidroon, and basically try to essentially sort of do they I presume that the masked marquis is humanoid in a form, right? Basically they're going to make to essentially sort of, how do I put it, stab them into place, either through a foot or through their leg or something with their spidroon.
Okay. So I see a couple ways this playing out. It almost sounds like this is two different actions, both assaulting the marquis, or it's like a group action.
I want to say that's basically how they assist, I suppose.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. No, that totally makes sense. All right. So one stress for an addition die.
Yep.
So all right. 3d6.
Standard grade.
Delicious. Oh, I got confused by the dice rolling out. 1 second. That would be a 5.
Okay. Yeah. So with the 5, it's a success. We mark 3 segments on the clock. You see parts of the obsidian crack and crumple in as he starts to slowly lose his form. And he pulls you in tight and close now that he's like his foot stuck. And he just like he did with Rose, he pushes you up against his chest and then puts his claws against your throat. So you're in a desperate position. Let's move over real quick to Violet. This monstrous thing fashioned from broken mirrors containing Frida's brother is trying to keep you from saving Rose. What do you do? Oh, you muted.
Is it trying to get between me and Rose? Or is it occupied?
The big monster? No, it's definitely focused on you. Rose is kind of nestled in between its 2 front paws, and it's like hulking over her. So it's not quite between you, but almost, just because of its massive size.
Okay, got it. I'm inclined to transcend also. And see if I can dash forward, basically sweeping her out of the way, or if I can't do that, to at least shove the thing back so that it can't grasp Rose.
Yeah, both of those sound great. Sure. What does your transformation look like?
So essentially, I look sort of just in normal every day. I kind of have a darker patterned dress with stars and little hints of gold trim around it. What happens during the transformation sequence is I sort of become this shining pink silhouette of myself with a black sphere surrounding me, but you can see the pink silhouette through the middle. I kind of levitate a few feet in the air, do a few slow motion spins, and then when everything kind of explodes into energy, what's left is me in my transcended costume. But in this particular case, I'm probably charging forward as I do the transformation sequence. It's kind of like I almost transform while also running / gliding through the air.
Yeah. All right. Which action are you, or what kind of action are you roll?
It's gonna be, I mean, fundamentally, I need to close distance between me and Rose. I'm
Based on what you
still,
described. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I'm still trying to figure out what I guess it would be Defy, probably.
Yeah, I could see either that or flow.
That I had it narrowed down between those two, right? I'm inclined to go with Defy if that works for you.
Yeah, um, absolutely. So I think this is risky standard. You're also
Okay.
transformed, so this thing is definitely not it's not a desperate situation. You're equal toe to toe,
Okay.
and you'll manage to drive it off.
So I'm looking at it, one die, right?
At the moment, yep.
Okay.
Am I allowed to assist?
Yeah.
How do you what do you do to assist?
For starters, out of curiosity, because one way of thinking of how to assist is trying to distract this thing. Is there anything at all that I could potentially pick up and throw?
I like the idea of you throwing your shoe at it.
You know what? Actually, I like that idea too. Thank you for that idea. So yeah, I would say Sarah just seeing Violet's kind of action going towards trying to get their sister and seeing this thing in the way and kind of getting the vibe of like what Violet's trying to do. She's going to kind of to take off her shoe, and then she's going to kind of just pull herself, kind of twist herself backwards, lifting one leg up, kind of getting in like a kind of a pitcher form, and then going and flinging her shoe at the creature. And as she's yelling, doing this, she's yelling out, "It's like, I'll get its attention, Violet. Just get your sister!" And just.
Awesome.
All right. So that gets me to 2, maybe?
Yep, that gets you to 2.
Okay. Can I push myself for a third one?
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Okay.
take 1 stress, right?
Yep, you take 1 stress, and Violet takes 2. So you got 3 dice.
All right. 3 dice. Let's do this.
Nice.
Good thing we got the third one.
Yeah. So standard, this is 2 segments on the clock, so I'll mark that. So yeah, just as you described, you managed to position yourself in between you and Rose, and the creature, like, I think probably just the, your sheer audacity of just showing up and just throwing yourself into the situation. It like jumps back, its claws digging into the mirrored surface of the ground, but it holds fast some distance away.
Cool.
But yeah, Rose is there at your feet, seemingly fast asleep. She's in a weird state.
I'm going to kind of well, no, I mean I could probably pick her up. In my transcended state, at least I could. I'll try to pick her up and kind of one arm and almost kind of do a one-armed fireman carry while I sort of do a dramatic pose and glare at the monster.
Yeah, excellent. Okay. We can move back to the dance with Elhenna, Bellatrix, and the Marquis.
Bellatrix is completely unconcerned for her safety, but she is eyeing the boy in the monster with panic. I mean, she has a glass knife up to her throat, and all of her attention is on the monster.
Do I perceive the same thing with the Marquis as like she does, or no? Regarding Ian. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. You're up close now to the other 2, so you definitely see the young man inside the monster, caged in the hulking form.
Let's see. So it's like Bellatrix right now is pretty much at a standstill. It's like given the knife at her throat.
She's locked into a dance with the Marquis at the moment.
It's very clear that this is not the fight that Bellatrix wants to be fighting. But
let's see. I think I will go ahead and invoke Bellatrix's other detail of their transcendence feature, where their rival may take their place at any time but must finish what they started. So it's Alhena basically seeing this, and I imagine they've met. They've probably met Ian at least once or so to know of his relationship with Bellatrix, and it's kind of simply comments, "Oh, how cowardly!" It's if you're, I mean, if you're going to play dirty like that, I don't think you deserve to, frankly, play with anyone at all. And kind of just sort of, once again, basically kind of tries to wrest the Marquis away from, Frida. It's if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. The ability lets that happen. In the while that plays out, is there anything you do to I guess I'm just looking to see if there's anything else you would like to do to trigger an action roll to work on that clock.
Let's see. So it's pulling the Marquis away and everything, and kind of it's in a similar swoop with the other hand, kind of pull my spadroon out and everything. It's in order to basically and it's essentially sort of pull them away from better pull them away from Frida, as they kind of turn to Frida and say I'll help the others. Well, I think it's better that I dance with them next anyway.
As you come in, I lay the flat of my palm against the wrist that holds the blade at my throat, and I'm trying to break its grip on me. That is me spending a stress to assist you.
Okay, and then in the same motion, basically, as as I pull out my spadroon out there, foot and everything, I basically do another spin and basically try to essentially impale them in the same motion.
Nice.
With it.
Yeah, this sounds like flow, I think.
Yeah, it's I could see that. Let's see. So that would be 2 dice with the flow and then the assist.
Yep.
Okay.
You can push yourself if you would like.
Yeah, I'll go and do that. Let's see, and then roll.
I think with how he's occupied in the process of this movement with Frida, that gives you the prime opportunity to take him off guard. So I think this is great effect.
Okay.
And, risky position.
6.
Nice. Okay. You do it. You said you impale him with your weapon?
Yeah.
That happens, and big chunks and small start to come off and starts to come apart. And then as the big chunks of the obsidian form break away, before they hit I guess just as they hit the ground, they break into black sand and spread out. So the Marquis, this form of the Marquis is no longer present. And Frida is freed.
Yay.
Cool.
The monster moves to push its back up away from the group of you, so that way you're all on one side of it, and it roars again. You can feel cold air billow out from somewhere inside, and when it closes its maw, there's no eyes or anything. It's just a reflective, what looks like it should be a reflective surface. You can see yourselves just faintly, but you can see better inside, and you see Ian in there. He no longer has his hands against his face. He's looking bewildered and frightened.
Ian, stay calm. We'll get you out of there.
Let's see. Is there anything I see from as I draw back my weapon?
You see the same thing as this.
Okay. Let's see. I'm sorry, can you describe again basically like how the scene is looks essentially, so to speak?
Sure, yeah. So you're in a smaller ballroom space than the big one where most of the dancers were. There is a big hulking monster about the size of a 10 by 10 room. It's made out of big chunks of reflective glass. And in the center, there appears to be trapped a young man who appears to be terrified and frightened. He looks tired and exhausted.
Okay, let's see. And then what are Vega and Bellatrix and Sarah doing?
What sounded like Bellatrix just spoke out, just yelled out to Ian
Yeah.
to stay calm and that he would be saved. Is that right?
Stay calm. We'll get you out of there.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, this is a magical girl show, so that could very well make progress on the clock if that's something that's like heartfelt and trying to break through this enchantment.
I meant it as communication to the team, but
That's fine too.
If you don't, I will. I mean, I want to try to get this person to safety, but you get dibs.
All right, I think Bellatrix is going to cry out to no one in particular, because presumably the powers that be are watching. Is this supposed to impress me? Is this supposed to fill me with doubt or despair? You have hardened my resolve against you. And neither me nor mine shall ever be yours. And I think that could either just be flavor, or I could be trying to use defy or express in order to try and abjure the effect that is imprisoning my brother.
Yeah.
I think I burn with a furnace light inside, and that becomes sort of a light in the darkness. To try and like melt or otherwise shift the creature so that my brother can be extricated.
Oh yeah. Okay. That sounds great. I think either of those work. David, it sounded like Vega, who's right there, holding Rose, was looking to take the same angle. Is Vega assisting?
Well, I mean, yeah, to the extent that I can. I don't want to steal your monologue or, essentially just be like, yes, same, and give you an extra die by doing that. But, to the extent that I can offer any assistance, I'll do that.
I think this is risky standard.
And I take 1 stress for assisting, don't I?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, just making sure.
I am going to push myself to I'm going to push myself to make this great.
Oh, nice. Okay, sounds good.
And I am open to poison promises, but probably willing to.
I would say I would rather I could also give you use my link that is temporary anyway to deny that 2 stress you're about to get.
Oh, thank you. I don't think I can push myself for both an extra die and for effect, though. Oh, you know what? Since I pushed myself for effect, I can't push myself for a die, I think.
Right.
I don't remember the specifics, but that's how it is in Blades. So I'm just sort of guessing that's the case.
I think so.
And you could also spend your link to give them an extra die instead of recovering 2 stress.
Oh, yeah, actually, I could just do that instead of having you do that.
Oh yeah, sure. What does it look like, Sarah?
I would say Sarah, kind of seeing that heartfelt plea and everything that you're doing and everything, she just kind of echoes that thing of kind of the thing of like the talk that they had prior that day and everything, and just kind of yells out in tandem towards your brother of like of the thing of like listen to your sister. We really want to help you. Just believe it, that we can be there for you.
I think Sarah and Bellatrix are on the same wavelength here. We are protecting. We are protecting those we care about. So I think this is 3 dice risky great.
Yes, I think so.
And I think this is probably more defy than express for what it's worth.
Okay.
Critical
Ooh,
success.
nice. That does it.
Sorry to not leave you anything to do, Vega.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
The creature falls apart in chunks, and there in the refuge is Ian, and he's frightened, he's terrified, and he's clutching something close to his chest. He's kind of shivering. In your arms, Vega, Rose sort of stirs as if starting to come awake.
I'll kind of look to them and say, hey, are you okay? Can you hear me?
Uh, mm, I think so. Uh, where who are you?
I'm Vega. You don't recognize me, huh?
You're just so brilliant and bright.
Hmm. Well, hold tight. You're safe now. And I'll look to the rest of the team to see kind of what everyone else wants to do before we get out of here.
I take a knee in front of my brother. Do you know who I am? I am a furnace of fire and glass at the moment. So it's it's a question.
He's terrified. He looks at you and his eyes get wider. He's like, please, no more. No more. And he clutches what he's got in his hands tighter. Take it away. Just take it all away. I've had enough. You could see like the pieces around him start to lift up as if to reform.
I'm going to drop my transcendence early. So I think I let the glass just sort of melt off of me and the fire burn out and the brilliance sort of burn out, and so I'm just sort of I'm his big sister. I'm his big sister, and I offer him my arms for a hug.
He says, Frida, oh, and he says, help me, and he holds out his arms, and in it is a prism, and there is an inner light, but no light is given out of it. Instead light is like being drawn into it.
Is he offering it to me, or is he?
With shaky hands, he's like holding it out. He's like, "Help me!"
I close my. I put one hand. I put one hand over the on his two hands, so that I'm also touching the prism, and the other hand on his shoulder.
The prism it feels. You can feel through the touch of the prism intense sorrow and loss. If you hold on much longer, it's going to hurt. What are Sarah and Adele doing at the moment?
Let's see. Does Frida make any indication that they're going say that she's going to let go of it's like his hands or anything? It's like with all the burning.
I think. I mean, you're transcended, so I imagine you're much more, you're attuned to you're probably, your senses are probably operating on overdrive. I think you can see Frida's shoulders set when she touches is set with sudden stress when she touches Ian's hands.
It's like, let's see. So it's like pretty obvious that like she's feeling something perhaps painful and everything. Is she like trying to keep holding on to him basically?
Yes. She
Uh,
says yes.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
She says to him, says to him, "It's okay. You're safe now. Let me take it."
Alhena kind of like goes up and kind of it's like after basically sheathing their weapon and everything, kind of offers kind of like puts adds her hand and kind of like clasps it over. It's like basically both of them and everything. It's like and just it's like you can trust your big sister, right?
He immediately relaxes as soon as Frida takes it. And Alhena, when you come over and you touch it as well, you can feel the power of this thing. And you can break it, but it's going to be difficult. If you have more of you, it's going to be easier.
I mean, I'm happy to assist.
What does that look like? Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. No, go ahead.
Oh, I have no idea what it looks like. I need to. I'm just thinking if there is some way that I can assist. We're trying to break this thing, right?
That's what it sounds like. It's just this weird prism that's drawing in light and emitting sorrow and loss.
think I will assist by holding on to my brother and trying to comfort him and just push out the despair. If that even counts as assisting, that's my contribution to whatever's about to happen.
No, I think that tracks. Yeah, it's either that or just punch it.
Okay, no, that sounds
One
good.
good
It sounds,
fist.
sorry, go ahead. What was that?
No, it's just one good fist.
So it sounds like Bellatrix and Vega are trying to help a group action led by Alhena. Is Sarah trying to assist in any way?
So all of that was happening before even they started helping out there. Sarah's actually, I would say right now, is like has already kind of left the room because she has a different thing in mind actually.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not a part of this part because technically I'm not aware of this happening because I'll say what I did later.
Okay. What action is this, Alhena?
Let's see. So am I holding the prism now?
I think you're the one that's sort of channeling the energies of everybody around that's helping.
Yeah. If you take the prism from Frida, she will let you take it.
Okay.
And then the other arm goes around her brother.
Let's see. I think I kind of imagine basically Alhena takes a prism. It's like with one hand, kind of draws back out there his like weapon with the other. And then sort of like it's like sets the prism on the ground, kind of like holds their weapon. It's like blade down, pointing, it's like towards and everything. Both hands on the handle and everything. It's like it's like in almost as though making a proclamation in a sense and everything. It's like declares, it's like in a sense, it's like basically, let's see. With our hope, our bonds, our love, and our trust, we defy this despair and this hopelessness, and then just kind of and then basically drives the blade down into the prism.
Nice. That's great. All right, so the three of you are going to roll defy. And Alhena can roll the highest of them, which is 1. So it's great because Alhena doesn't have defy. So as the group action. And we get to take the highest among all of those rolls.
So let's see, would that be 1 dice? And then it's like, were they assisting essentially?
I think it's a group action.
Okay.
So we all roll.
Mhm.
Okay. So we all roll 1 die.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can spend links, I think, here as well if you have any that you available.
I think all of our links are to the one person that's not in this room.
Yeah, and I'm not a part of the action, so I can't use mine on Frida.
Awkward.
Awkward.
Oh, sorry. This is great effect controlled.
Okay. Sadly, I rolled a 3, which means I think 1 stress to Alhena.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. Actually, could I also push myself for this?
I think so.
Let's see. Yeah, in that case, I'll go ahead and push myself for I forgot to ask that before rolling.
That's fine.
Let's see. Don't think there's anything of like a poison promise anyone can probably offer for this.
And nothing on my end.
I think there's a potential poison promise is there's a weird resonance that heads out, and by some way, shape, or form, Oda discovers the connection between Adele and Alhena.
Oh.
I'll take that.
Okay.
Let's see. So 1 for the stat, 1 for pushing myself, and another for the poison promise.
Yep.
Let's see. And then I already rolled 1 die, so I'll just roll the other 2.
Okay.
Nope, that's not any better. So 5.
Okay. And then David, did you roll?
Oh no, I didn't. It's 1d6, yes.
Yeah, and you can push yourself if you would like.
Am I already taking a stress for this anyway?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I'll push myself to make it 2d6.
Okay.
4.
Okay. 5 was the highest. This is controlled, so you can withdraw and try a different approach, or do it with a minor consequence. In this particular case, I think it's lesser harm, which is like, it's just as the thing explodes, part of the overwhelming emotion just lingers in you, the sense of loss.
Yeah, I'll take the minor consequence.
Okay. Yep, that's level 1 harm.
Is that to all three of us?
I think in this particular case, based on the fiction,
Yeah, in that case, it's like if it's affecting, it's like them as well. It's like then it'll also depend on them whether they want to try a different approach instead.
I think it just a henna for now. Yeah, you were kind of focusing the power, so, and you were right there on top of it. So I think it just, when it breaks, like a splinter of the energy, the light that emits, just kind of lashes out at you. So I think it just henna, you just take lingering sense of loss as level 1 harm.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. We are at 10 till. I think I would like to see what Sarah is up to, and then if there's any wrap up, we can finish that at the beginning of next session, because it sounds like, except for maybe some conversations with Ian and Rose, that the mission is just about over. Does that work for everybody?
Yeah, sure.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So you disappeared, Sarah. Where did you go?
Yeah, so so the scene of like seeing the two of them over there reunited with their each of their siblings, she kind of just lets out a little like kind of relaxed like breath for a moment, and then something it kind of just occurred to her. There's more than these two people here that were kind of captured, and the thing of did things change for those back in the other rooms? So she kind of starts making her way just immediately over that way, because single-minded mind, I need to go check on the other people in that other ballroom, see what's if they've broken free or anything like that. And so she kind of starts making her way, lopsided for a moment because she realized she's got only one shoe, kicks off the other shoe, and then starts just running off with only her with no shoes on, straight to the other ballroom to check on the other people in the and see if they are freed from the situation, or if there's anything else maybe going on over there.
Yeah, so immediately as you start to head out that hallway into the larger ballroom, you see that the only 2 individuals of the 4 pair there are just the frosted over dancers. The mirror individuals have broken apart into glass and sand. When you go into the room, you see the same thing. No longer are they dancing, they're kind of just standing around. And at some point, there's like just this lurch, and then like the frost just kind of gives way into like a gentle mist from each of them. And you can feel, well, yeah, like Sarah has latent magic girl powers she may not be fully aware of. You can feel this strange like lightning, as it not lightning, but lightening of like what was an oppressive feeling now just lifted as the girls start to come to.
All right, and I guess the way to kind of just end that scene for with our time and everything is just Sarah would be kind of just rushing up to kind of basically one console and also kind of assure everybody that, hey, everything's going to be all right. I'm here for you, and kind of just being that kind of voice of like hope in a sense.
Yeah, I think they gather around you as your welcome presence. Awesome. Okay. Stars and wishes. Unless anybody has anything they would like to cover real quick before we jump into that?
I'm good on my end.
Okay. Wow, there was a lot of cool things. Stars for everybody. I loved Sarah rushing in headlong, right into the mouth of the monster, basically. Got to help a friend. I really loved the opening scene with Violet and Gabriel. I thought that was great. And then searching after Rose. And then just this perpetual theme throughout of like, gotta save Rose, gotta save Rose, gotta save Rose. That was nice. Similarly, I liked this consistent feel that I was getting from Elhenna of like, it doesn't feel like Elhenna's cold. It feels like Elhenna is like collected and put together, and that's all there will be because that's what needs to be. That's the kind of feeling I'm getting from them, and I think that's great. I'm really enjoying that. And then I liked Furnace of Ambition was amazing, and then the mirrored dance of just, I did not expect that, and I don't think the Mass Marquis did either. Like, okay, let's just dance, let's do this. That was Violet and Frida. I also like that too, the mirrored dancing of like the mirrored creatures were trying to keep Adele occupied by dancing, and then Violet and Frida were also at the same time like pairing off together with the Master Marquis to keep him occupied. I thought that was a really interesting play there. Wishes next time are to see the fallout of this and what plays out next, especially with all of these poison promises we have on the table.
I guess I could go. A star to Sarah Marie for just flinging herself into dangerous situations with abandon. Add to the first attack, running off with no shoes in a ballroom filled with shards of glass. Like the degree of first into the fray that I'm getting from Sarah Marie is delightful, and I can't wait to see. I guess I will say as a wish on that is I can't wait to see the other shoe come off on that. Whenever Sarah gets in over her head at some future episode. I like how we're foreshadowing that in advance. And I also am really enjoying the back and forth banter with Elhenna. I feel like this is a two-sided rivalry, and I'm here for it. And on time, I think I'll pause for here.
I just real quick, I will say also yes, 100% to wanting to see Fallout. I thought this was a really cool mission. It was good to get to see how the missions go in this game. I really enjoyed the shoe throwing. Good idea, Danny. Good idea, Clarice. Love the shoe throw. Will, I really liked when you inserted yourself into the dance using the this one's mine move. And yes, the continued banter between Fumi and others is always enjoyable to listen to. So I'm enjoying it so far. This was a lot more kind of fast-paced and felt like there was a lot more getting done. So I like what we're doing here with this one.
Yeah, it's like saying pretty much stars to everybody. It's like especially like Danny for it's like his GMing, it's like and his descriptions and everything. It's like helping to it's like carry along the it's like scenes and all. And it's like to everybody, it's like getting to showcase more and more of their characters, including in their it's like as it's like we get to see parts of how they are when they transcend and it's like dealing with these it's like challenges and everything. It's like enjoying the drama between it's like Violet and Gabriel, as well as the drama with where's my sister. It's like and it's like how she involved in this and getting to see it's like Bellatrix play out their it's like their rival abilities and everything, and Sarah just in there, and getting to see Sarah's absolute urgency to try to help people and everything, just absolutely throwing herself into danger, as everybody said. So it's like, yeah, this is great. And it was real great. Wishes is pretty much the same thing. I can't wait to see the consequences of all this and everything, and getting to see it's like even more of how it's like the characters develop and suffer.
I will actually also say yes, lots more interpersonal drama would be very fun. I like this a lot.
Do we want to check on Honorbound before we spend a week not playing?
Honorbound, what's that?
That's probably smart. It's easy to check on. It's an ability I have, I think.
Yeah, where it's like getting XP or Series XP for whether we were abiding by Vega's Honorbound code.
Yeah, I mean, for everyone's purposes, it's did we get through the whole mission without anyone committing an act of violence or not?
Oh, I thought it was without anybody committing any of the others.
Oh no, you're right. I had it inverted. Yeah.
I as a player counted 3 instances where I as a player asked another player to help, but I think that was 0 for Frida. So take it, see where you fall on the weasel scale for that.
Okay.
That's also sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, it just has to be a thing where none of the PCs break the code over the course of the mission to mark Series XP.
I don't think anybody lied. I don't think anybody.
Yeah, and we're talking about when it comes to like in the encounter or the whole everything.
The mission.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, my character admitted faults when they ran in and got called out for it.
Okay.
Yeah, so they admitted fault, so they followed on that side. I don't think anybody lied. Yeah, no, I think it was pretty. I think we followed it pretty to the letter.
Okay, so it sounds like the code was broken.
Oh, was it?
But because you admitted.
Oh, yep, I did admit fault. Yep.
That's a good reminder, though. I totally forgot XP. We can do that at the beginning of next session, unless people have time now. I want to respect everyone.
Doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind doing it now.
I'm okay doing it now.
Yeah, and just really quick, Star, loved everything, loved everybody's character interactions. I felt like the group as a whole has a lot more cohesive bonds and kind of understanding of each other's like character relationships a little bit more. I feel like that I was starting to feel like all 4 characters were kind of interconnected in some shape or form. So love that, and just same wishes as everybody else pretty much with the Fallout. All right, let's do the XP.
Excellent. Sorry about that. I forgot.
Oh, no.
Messed us all up.
No. Don't worry. I was like, oh, there's not really much I wanted to add. Just the thing of like, love everybody's character dynamics at this point. That was literally all I wanted to add.
Nice. Let's start with Series XP. You successfully carried out a mission from the series list. Yes, absolutely. Did you confront the world's oppression and comfort those who suffer?
I tried to with Rose and making sure they're okay.
I feel like we did that. We had that in general with the 2 people we saved as a whole.
Yeah, and I think Sarah did. It's like basically run out of the room to try to check on the others and comfort them as well.
I think that's 1 XP or 2.
I feel like
It's
with the
2.
combined group thing is 2.
Yeah, sounds good. Explore the nature of the darkness and redeem those who have fallen.
I don't think we redeemed anybody. We did explore, but I don't think we redeemed anybody.
Okay. So definitely explore. So we'll mark 1 XP for that. And did you express this essential nature, origin, or destiny of the group?
I mean, because our essential thing is kind of like being expressing and being yourself individually. We did a lot of saving, and I mean, sure, my character was like telling them everything's gonna be okay, and we also had that moment with the brother and dealing and like taking on that oppressive depression, but I don't know if that would necessarily fall in there. I could argue that possibly the group's thing with the prism moment kind of embodied that a little bit.
I think this is at least one for sure, because we're going to see next time, like after finishing this mission and breaking this prism, another star appears in the sky, which brings you closer to your destiny for sure.
Yeah, and I do believe that Vega and Frida did basically sort of express their emotions. It's like openly too. It's like the ones it's like close to them.
Yeah,
which I think falls in line with that.
It's great. I think 2 XP for that.
Oh, right, right. Express emotions is the other half of that coin, or the other half of that that prompt.
Excellent. All right, who would like to go first for their magical girl?
I can start. You address a challenge with compassion or honesty. I mean, I did at least have honesty in my discussion with like Adele and everything, in my like communication and everything, and I did show compassion throughout all of it, especially for all those suffering. So I guess at least an XP, maybe 2. Let's see here. We'll just do that. And then you expressed your beliefs, drives, roles, and background. That was my entire character, the entire mission. So, and then, okay, I guess I'll just get rid of that and start over at the beginning here. Okay. So there's that. And then you struggled with issues from promises or obligation. And this one, I'm not entirely certain if yes or no. Like, I feel like yes, but I'm not sure how to.
Oh, well, okay. So I was going to interpret this a little more loosely.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
maybe your promise works. Didn't you promise a separate promise? Didn't you promise Frida that you were going to help find this boy, or is that something else?
I promised Frida that we would do our everything to help other people. So I did actually follow Frida's promise and what I was trying to do of like trying to help others, and that's one reason why I'm also going over to the ballroom and to really help people out of that situation. So I'll give it 1. Yeah. And then you embodied your eclipse or displayed the contents of your heart. I would say I probably displayed quite a bit, with like 1, expressing to Adele, 2, making it very plain and clear my desperate want to help and everything. All right, that was mine.
Don't forget to take an ability.
Yeah, I gotta do that.
So is that 5 total, 6 total?
I think it was 5.
Sweet. I guess I can go.
Sure.
I addressed a challenge with individual action or aggression. There was a lot of aggression, so I'll take 1 for that. I'll put an asterisk next to you expressed your beliefs, drives, role, or background, and come back to it. You struggled with issues from your promises or obligation. Maybe 1 point if we are talking about following up on the dancers and the soft promise that Sarah and I made to help people. You embodied your eclipse or displayed the contents of your heart. Yes, multiple times, both of those. And the question I have is whether my outburst to the darkness and protection of Ian was absolutely displaying the contents of my heart. Does it also count as expressing my beliefs, drives, role, or background? So I feel like I either get 2 points for you embodied your eclipse, or I get 2 points for that and 1 point for beliefs, drives, role, and background for a total of 3.
Okay.
So if people are okay with that, that's 5 total.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Did you not have any XP from last time?
I stuck them all in Moon, and
that's
I'm
right.
getting
Okay.
I'm getting a dot in Moon now.
Excellent.
I still have nothing in Star, and I will commit to this.
I can go ahead and go next. Let's see. You addressed a challenge with understanding or coordination. I suppose that counts for multiple times with how many times I ended up using flow. Let's see. So 2 XP. Let's see. You expressed your beliefs, drives, role, and background. Yeah, I think that pretty much overlaps with that. It's like former. Let's see. You struggled with issues from your promises or obligation. I don't believe that happened this session. Let's see. Embodied your eclipse or display the context. It's like contents of your heart. I don't think I quite did that this session either. It was mostly action driven for Elhenna.
Okay. And then David.
Yeah. Addressed a challenge with self-sacrifice, definitely. When I offered to dance with the antagonist. I'm not gonna say I did it twice. I think that once is fine. Express beliefs, drives, role, or background. I think role and background both with just being generally heroic and loyal knighty. Beliefs being that I prioritized Rose, and that was kind of a central focus of my character right now. Struggled with issues from promises or obligation. Yes, because I put myself kind of in harm's way to protect Polaris, I think, which is one of my promises. And then embodied eclipse or displayed contents of my heart. Um, I think so. I mean, I called Gabriel an idiot, which is sort of yeah. So I'll mark 4 and cash them in to stick 1 into forgive. Well, no, you only have to spend 6 to level up
And
a
ability.
stat.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep 2 in reserve then.
Okay.
That's
Awesome.
it for me. Yep.
I think for like the roles, beliefs, and background, you should have given yourself 2 instead of 1 on that one, since you were doing that quite a lot.
Okay, well, if no one has a problem with it, I'll take 2.
Thanks, everybody.
Woo.
Have a good one.
All right, take good care. See everyone next week.
Bye.
Yep,
Be well,
thank you.
folks.
Good night.
Good night.